Tell me the wildest way you have ever been fat shamed.
Okay, I look like hell, but deal. Keep in mind, I was 15 at the time and I was working at the county fair. And an older gentleman came up and had ordered just like a root beer or something like that. And he asked me my name, and I said, my name's Bambi. And he said, oh, that's so sweet. Your mom must have thought you were going to be a little deer. I was like, haha, I'm used to jokes about my name. And then he looked straight at me and he goes, well, an elephant is as far away from a deer as you can get, isn't it? 15 years old.
Tell me the wildest way you have ever been fat shamed.
Okay, I'm still really angry about this, so I'm just going to get into it. So I've been planning a sewing, cosplay, historical costuming project for 3 years now. I'm planning on wearing it to Katsucon in February. I'm really excited. We have all these people lined up to get stuff from. I'm going all out with this. And I need a pattern though for the bodice of this dress. It's really specific, what type of bodice I need, and I cannot find this fucking pattern anywhere. I've contacted people that make them, custom and stuff like that. They're I don't think I can make this pattern just because this dress is really weird to figure out. And I'm okay, thank you. I appreciate your time. I finally find one shop. They're the only shop I found. They're on Etsy that makes the pattern and they have custom sizing available. And I'm fantastic. I can get this custom made for my measurements. This is great. So I contact them, we talk for a little bit, everything seems to be going well, and then I tell them that I need a size 20. They inform me that they don't make dresses for people bigger than a size 16. And I say, oh, well, I want to get it custom sized, it doesn't have to be exact measurements, as long as it's a US 20, we should be fine, I can adapt from there. And they're no, you don't understand. We don't make dresses bigger than a 16. 16's already big. We don't want to make anything bigger. And I'm sitting there what? You're offering custom sizing on your page, though, for an extra $50. So yeah, we only custom size up to a 16. We won't do anything bigger than that. It's too much effort. And I'm hey, I'm willing to pay whatever you want. You're literally have a monopoly on this pattern. You are the only people that sell this pattern. Please, I am willing to pay whatever. As long as it's in that ballpark, it's fine with me. I don't know how to make patterns. I can't make patterns. And they're just we don't make patterns for people of your size. Sorry. And I am pissed because I have to figure this out now. My options are order the pattern that they have in the largest size they have and try to adapt it to my size, or try to find somebody else, which I've been trying for 2.5 years now, and it's been a brick wall. So I'm not happy.
Tell me the wildest way you have ever been fat shamed.
My past best friend invited me over to her place, which is in another state over in South Dakota. I live in Minnesota. Last year this happened, and I was supposed to stay there for a week. And while I was there, she did not feed me. It was hot as hell. She was a model for a certain something, an event that is actually going on right now. It's located in South Dakota. You might get an idea of what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. But the entire time that I was there, I didn't make it the entire week. I stayed there 3 days. The entire time I was there, one, she didn't feed me. Two, she kind of fat shamed me, kind of making these odd comments about my weight and everything. And then she left me alone for 7 hours on one of the days that I was there, which prompted me to come back early. She told me she was going to a dinner and I wasn't invited. So she left me alone for 7 hours. There was no air conditioning in her apartment. and there was no food that she had offered me. So she was gone, and I kept texting her, asking her, when is she coming home? When are you coming home? I'm starting to get hungry. At first, she told me to take her roommate's BMW or whatever luxury car the hell, like whatever he was driving, and go and find food. But I said, I don't even know this person. I'm not going to just commit grand theft auto here. So then she's like, walk, get your exercise. What? So I did end up doing that. I ended up walking like 15 minutes to a Culver's to go and get some ice cream because it was hot as fuck, and a bottle of water. And then when I realized that she wasn't coming home after about, 5 hours or so, I was hot as hell. I decided to walk another 15 minutes to the local hotel, and I waited, whatever, till the next day to talk to her and ask her what the hell her problem was. She refused to acknowledge, so I went home. But yeah, there were a lot of really weird off things where she pretty much let me know that she thought I was fat and wasn't okay with it. She thought I needed to be model thin because she was a model. She's like, well, I'm disappointed in that fact that you gained weight. I'm disappointed. So, now here I am right now. I am 37 pounds lighter than I was when she fat shamed me, and it is all because of her. I felt like that I was worthless, and I felt like I needed to change. Don't ever let anybody change you because of what they think about you. I had hit such a rock bottom that I felt like I needed to change. Yeah, sure, I feel better, but at the same time, like, this should not have happened. So if this ever had to happen to anybody else, I'm really fucking sorry. And fuck her, by the way. If she gets a chance to see this, fuck her. She knows who she is. She knows what she did. 1 year. 1 year ago.
Tell me the wildest way you have ever been fat shamed.
It wasn't me that got fat shamed. It was my daughter when she was 17, my oldest daughter. She had what we thought was a giant cyst burst on the top of her behind crack. She was at school. I had to call an ambulance because she was in excruciating pain. She couldn't walk. Blood, pus everywhere. It was rough to see my kid like that. Got to the hospital in Noonan, Georgia, so Noonan, Piedmont, Noonan. They basically told her she was fat and she needed to learn how to wash herself when she took a shower. Fast forward about 6 months later, and we were in the hospital again, and she was in excruciating pain. She was then fat shamed again. I begged a doctor for a x-ray, CAT scan, anything, blood work, nothing. Oh no, she's just overweight. She needs to lose weight and she'll feel better. They finally did an x-ray. 3 hours later, came to her little curtain room in the ER and said, we're waiting on Children's Hospital to come pick her up, but there's no life flights available, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. It's 2 a.m. We're now at the Children's Hospital. That was over an hour away from where we were. And the nurse comes in, then the doctor comes in, and the doctor looks me dead in my face and starts crying. She recognized me from my other daughter that had cancer that she was currently treating at the other children's hospital across town. Yes, at this point I had 2 kids with cancer at the same time. 2 girls, 2 different hospitals, children's hospitals in Atlanta. Well, if you're from Georgia, you know, they're all called CHOA. Eggleston and Scottish Rite was my new home for the next couple of years with 2 kids. All the doctors knew us, except some of them didn't know that they were sisters. How do you ask? Because my oldest daughter wanted her own hospital, and I respected her wishes. Those are my girls, my 2 cancer kids. That was the one that was fat shamed at 17 in the hospital. That's the library at Eggleston Children's Hospital. This is my daughter now. She didn't make it. That's my daughter that did make it. Stop fat shaming.
Tell me the wildest way you have ever been fat shamed.
Hi, so I'm Muslim, marry me, but I'm first generation Pakistani Indian American, and I come from very religious, conservative background, whereas I was not allowed to date growing up, go out with boys, and it was kind of expected that the community would help me meet a husband. So when I was younger, they'd be like, sweetheart, you need to lose weight. Why don't you lose the weight? Nobody's going to get married to you. Nobody. Mark my word, beta. Nobody will marry you. And then now I'm approaching perimenopause, and I'm really excited about it. But these aunties realizing that their loser sons are going to become orphans because their mothers are dying. And so they literally look at me and they're like, Beta, you should marry our son. He's a loser. But you're fat. You're so fat. You'd better take it. And then I look at them and I'm like, if you really knew what I attracted outside of our fucking community, they're 10s. Your fucking son's impotent. Fuck you.